Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the IM3 2-3 Part 2 homework solutions on factoring basic trinomials.
To factor this trinomial, we're looking for numbers that multiply to give us negative 66 and add up to give us positive 5. So things that multiply to give us 66, we've got 1 and 66. There's no way to get a 5 out of that. 2 and 33 doesn't work. 3 and 22 is not going to work. What else do we have? How about 6 and 11? Well, if I had, let's see here, one of them's got to be negative, one's got to be positive because it multiplies to a negative, and it has to add up to a positive. So let's say we had negative 6 and positive 11. That would add up to 5 and multiply to negative 66. So then our answer is going to be x minus 6, x plus 11. On this problem, to factor this out, we're looking for factors of 60 that add up to negative 17. And as you're doing this, since they multiply to a positive, you know they're the same sign, and if they add up to a negative, they must both be negative. So things that multiply to 60 and add up to 17, well, let's see, 1 and 60 doesn't work, 2 and 30, nope, 3 and 20, nope, how about 4 and 15? We're getting closer, but not quite. 5 and 12 would work if we had negative 5 and negative 12. So we're going to write then x minus 5, x minus 12. For this problem, to factor this trinomial, we're looking for factors of negative 45 that add up to 4. So let's see, things that multiply to 45, 1 and 45, that's not going to add up to 4. Let's see, 3 and 15, not even close. How about 5 and 9? Well, we could get a 4 out of that. Now, since this is a negative 45, that means they have to have opposite signs. And since the thing they add up to is positive, that means that the positive number has to be the larger of the two in terms of absolute value. So if we had negative 5 and positive 9, that would do the trick here. So I'm going to write then x plus 9 and x minus 5. For this one, we're trying to find factors of negative 30 that add up to positive 1. That's what we'll need to do to factor this thing. Once we find those factors, we'll just put them in some parentheses with x's. Since this is just x squared, we can use this little bit of a shortcut here. So things that multiply to 30, 1 and 30 is not going to do it for us. 2 and 15 is better, but still not there. 3 and 10, no. How about 5 and 6? If I had, let's see here, negative 5 and positive 6, that would add up to positive 1. So then our answer, we're going to have x plus 5, or actually x minus 5, and x plus 6. To factor out this trinomial with just a 1 for the a value here, 1x squared, we need to find just factors of the constant 4 that add up to 5. So let's see here. That would just be, not a whole lot of choices here. That would just be 1 and 4. The only other option was 2 and 2, and that adds up to 4, not 5. So then we can write x plus 1, parentheses, x plus 4. For this problem, to factor this, we need factors of negative 96 that add up to negative 4. Now, since this is a negative constant out here, that means that our factors must have opposite signs since we multiplied to get a negative. And since they add up to a negative, that means the negative must have a larger absolute value. So let's talk about things that we could subtract to get negative 4 that multiply to give us negative 96. 1 and 96, there's no way you're getting a 4 out of those numbers. 2 and 48 is not going to do it for us either. 3 and 32 is getting better, but still not what we need. Let's see here. 4 and 24, nope, that won't work. How about, I think, 6 and 16? Well, that would subtract to give us a 10 or a negative 10, so still better, but not what we need. What comes after 6 that goes into 96? Not 7, that goes into 98. 8. 8 goes into 96. How many times? That's going to go in 12 times. 8 and 12, I can get a negative 4 out of that if I had x plus 8 and x minus 12. To factor this trinomial, I'm going to need to find factors of negative 24 that add up to negative 5. So let's see here. They're going to have opposite signs because it multiplies to a negative, and the negative has to have a larger absolute value because it adds up to a negative. So things that multiply to 24, we've got 1 and 24. That's not going to add up or subtract to 5. 2 and 12 isn't going to do it either. How about 3 and 8? Well, if I had a positive 3 and a negative 8, that would add up to negative 5. So then I can write v plus 5, or v plus 3 rather, v minus 8. To factor this trinomial, I need factors of 40 that add up to negative 13. Because this is a positive constant, that tells me my factors must both be the same sign, and if they add up to a negative, they must both be negative then. So things that multiply to 40 and add up to 13, 1 and 40, nope, that doesn't work. 2 and 20 adds up to 22, 4 and 10 adds up to 14, so that's pretty close, but not quite what we need. How about 5 and 8? Well, if I had negative 5 and negative 8, that would add up to negative 13. So then my answer is going to be k minus 5, parentheses k minus 8. To factor this trinomial, I need factors of 20 that add up to 12. So let's see here. We've got 1 and 20 doesn't work. How about 2 and 10? Yeah, that adds up to 12. So then my answer, I've got b plus 2, b plus 10. For this one, factoring this is going to require me to find factors of 72 that add up to negative 18. So because the 72 is positive, that tells me both my factors are going to have to be the same sign, both negative since they add up to this negative 18 in the middle. So let's think about things that multiply to 72 and add up to 18. We've got 1 and 72, that doesn't work. 2 and 36 is still too big. 3 and, let's see here, 3 and 24, that's better, but still doesn't add up to 18. 4 and, let's see, how many times does 4 go into 72? That's going to be 18 times, so still too big, 4 plus 18. How about 6? 6 goes into 72 12 times. 6 plus 12 is 18, so if I had negative 6 and negative 12, that would work. So then I'll write n minus 6 and parentheses n minus 12. To factor this trinomial, I need factors of negative 21 that add up to 4. So they're going to have opposite signs since we're multiplying to get a negative. So let's see here. 1 and 21, there's no way to get 4 out of that by adding or subtracting. How about 3 and 7? If I had negative 3 and positive 7, that would work. So let me write then x minus 3, x plus 7. To factor this one, I need factors of 3 that add up to negative 2. And both factors must have the same sign because we're multiplying to get a positive. They're both going to be negative because we're adding up to get a negative. So this is not a very long list of factors. There's really only one set of things that multiply to 3, and that's 1 and 3. So let's see here. If I had negative 1 and negative 3, that would add up to negative 4, not negative 2. Since there's no other factors, that means that this one is going to be prime, cannot be factored, so we're done.